Hello, friends. Welcome to A Little Room for Healing, where we aim to create a little more room in the world for authentic connection, insightful healing, and a deeper understanding of our hearts, ourselves, and each other through honest conversation. My name is Joel. I'm a Reiki and 13th Octave Laho Chi practitioner, a facilitator for deep healing, and your host. Robin Kidder returns to the podcast. Robin is a medicine guide serving as a divine mirror and pattern worker, awakening people to the truth of their power. Today, we set off on a special two-part journey together. In this episode, we prepare for a medicine journey with a plant commonly referred to as Father. We share where we are leading up to this work, as well as what being a healer means to us. We discuss the divine masculine, our relationship to it, and the healing that can happen by holding and owning your sexual energy. At the end, we set intentions for our journey. As usual, we start with check-ins so we can be more attuned with each other. Come on in. Hi, Robin.
Hi. Wait, can we start that over?
Mm-hmm. You didn't like your hi?
I'm kind of just kidding, but maybe.
All right, leaving it in now. We're
right.
moving on.
Hi. That's better.
All right, we'll start over.
We'll start there. Hi.
Hi, Robin. Hi, Robin.
Hi.
Thank you for having me in your lovely home today for this episode. We are doing something, we're trying a new thing that we haven't done before yet on A Little Room for Healing, and that is this episode. Instead of making a little room for healing in the middle of an episode, we're going to make a little room for healing in between two full episodes. And so Robin and I are going to talk today for a while about whatever's coming up, and also in preparation for a San Pedro journey that we're going to be doing between these episodes. And San Pedro, also known as Wachuma. And then we're going to come back after that, some few days after our journey, and talk some more. So, let us start with check-ins and get into it, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first. I am feeling really good right now. I feel dropped in with you. I was feeling, when I first arrived, I was feeling a little dazed and out of it and wasn't quite here. And then we had this great conversation, a little catch-up conversation on some stuff that was moving in my life. And I feel like we, in that conversation, dropped in together. So now I'm feeling really present with you. And love that for what's about to unfold. And yeah, it feels really good. I feel really grounded right now and excited. So that is where I'm coming from. How about you?
Thank you. I think I echo that. I feel it too. I feel dropped in the space with you. I'm glad that we're here. I'm feeling a little bit of anxiety. A little tension right here. So I'm just bringing some awareness there. And yeah, I feel excited. The excitement is there's a mystery here. I don't know what we're getting into. I feel like I've already started the preparation. The preparation for the journey that we're going on is, I don't even know where it actually began, but it feels like it really picked up in the last couple of days. Because that's how it works for me. It just starts going, it's like, oh God, I'm going in. Here we go. And things start coming up and stirring and moving, and yeah, so There's that like pre-journ swirling happening. And I feel excited and interested in this experiment.
Cool.
Like, I feel like it's really cool. It's cool what we're doing. Like, I don't know. I'm really grateful for our friendship and the sort of I feel like we're explorers that have our path is like intertwining, and I've gotten so much from our relationship, and it's fun to play in. This feels like more play.
Beautiful. I feel the same. I've learned so much out of the relationship that we have, our friendship, and the journeying and the exploring we've done together. Even already today, before we pressed record, in that conversation we had before we pressed record, I was like taking in things and being like, oh, that's I'm looking forward to working on that, looking at that, but making that part of really cool.
Which part in particular are you like looking forward to?
Well, we were talking about me stepping into my divine masculinity and being able to hold sexual energy without needing anyone to do anything for me with it. Totally owning it and holding it and being in it without need. And we were talking about how that would relate to women and the healing that can take place, and also the challenges that could come up for me in holding space in that realm. And how interesting and fun and I don't even know another word, but that experience would be for me. And then you were giving me some examples of it, and just
of like the types of dynamics you might find yourself in as you're holding this energy and you're sort of carrying this out into the world, what it's going to call in. It's going to call in because it's so magnetic. It will call in, and then it will bring up in women all of the ways that they can't quite hold the matching frequency, which is fun.
Yeah.
And it'll also bring up in you like the ways that you can't quite hold it.
Right.
So it's like that's where we get to be in the dance together.
Yeah.
But like when you're at this point of like, oh, okay, I've felt the thing. Like, oh, that's it. And then it's like, okay, I've touched it and I've held it. And there's just so much we can do at that point. That's like, it's really exciting, I think.
Even just going back into the conversation now, a surge of that energy went through me.
I felt it too.
I was like, there it is.
Woo.
There you are. I'm enjoying it. I used to be very, and maybe I still will have spurts of it. I probably will, but I used to be very shameful about that energy, and I used to be very scared of it, and very like, I don't know what to do with it, and I'm not supposed to be having it. And over the course of just the last few months, culminating in last weekend, I have realized that it's my energy and that I can own it. So I started owning it and started holding it, and now I'm quite enjoying the energy, and I almost want it to be there all the time, just so I can like meditate in it and feel it and let it explore
the field around me.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's turn on.
It's cool.
It's like I can be turned on all the time. And it's okay. When I'm contained, when I know my system and I know, like, the thing that you started with, that you brought in when we were starting in this conversation, was how what has set the stage for you to be able to actually release the shame and be in this energy is that you don't need anything from anyone else. You're in this new frequency of self-provision, self-protectorship, like self-love. Like, this is, you've done all of this clearing of the patterns that were blocking that. So now you're fully resourced.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's an interesting time right now because I am fully resourced, but I'm still integrating that I'm fully resourced. So it's still a new room that I've walked into, and I'm still getting used to the energy of it and the flow of it and where everything is and where everything goes.
Yeah. It's really funny that we're recounting the conversation we had before we had started this, but I would keep wanting to bring more stuff in. The piece about, like, it's like learning to surf. Like, you get up on the board and you learn, and you're like, oh, okay, and then you fall off, and then you have to learn, like, how to get up in different kinds of. I don't actually surf, so it's really not a great metaphor for me. I have surfed before. I got up on the board once. But then you get to learn how to do that under different conditions and, like, more stress, and there's a storm coming and the surf is bigger and and you stayed up too late and all of the things. So it starts to, like, how resilient are you? How much can you bounce back? And then you get to see the very special. It's really about the transition. I mean, it's like any meditation. It's like the transition back into the space is really where the practice is. It's not about clearing your mind. It's about how do you bring yourself back into.
Oh, interesting. Post meditation, you mean?
Or like when you're in a meditation and you're supposed to be like, I don't know, I don't do seated meditations really, but like, you know, your mind wanders and it's about bringing yourself back to clearing or your breath or whatever it is you're meditating on, right? And isn't the practice in sort of not in doing it perfectly, because there isn't that. It's like in the return back. It's in the transition. Like one of my teachers, all practice is for the phase transition. Is all for the transition. Like, that's what we're doing.
Yeah. I never looked at that in meditation. I never looked at meditation that way. I'm not really a student of meditation. I have meditated before, but I never heard that before. But it makes so much sense because that's what we say the work is when you're doing psychedelic work. You're doing work when you're on the medicine, but really, how are you bringing that back into the world?
Yeah, it doesn't do you much good if it's
just
like
there.
Just when I just have to keep my mind like right here and like, yeah, it's like how does it move with you as you're moving?
With all healing work, psychedelic or not, breath work, how are you bringing that back in? How are you? Any sort of talk therapy, if you're coming upon some epiphany in talk therapy, how are you bringing that back into the world with you? Yeah, that's where I am in the holding of my sexual energy.
I really, really love. I feel like it's very cool. One of my favorite things about our friendship is how I get to hear. Like, you're so diligent with your work, and how when you get an insight in something, it's like you don't forget about it. You really take it and you do integrate it. It's actually like one of the reasons why I really like to play with you, because you're like, it's, you really get it. You really get that. And that's important to me. That's like, to me, it's like, speaks to the sacred like, gift of the receiving of these like codes to unlock the things. It's like, okay, this is a gift, and then I get to, my job is actually to take it and figure out what to do with it. I really, really appreciate that.
Thanks. Thanks. That's cool. It feels good to be seen like that.
Yeah, you go out there and do it. Like, even, can we talk a little bit about how we came to do this sort of, my memory of how we came to do this podcast and the journey we're going to do, and then the idea of it.
This 2 podcast
Yes,
journey that we're about to
thing that
do?
we're doing.
Yeah.
The thing
Sure.
that I remember is like, you were like, or we did a San Pedro journey together a month ago. And I had an experience of being very held by you, like so powerfully, and I was just like, wow, like Joel is really amazing space holder, and like really holds this medicine, and like is very embodied with it. Like there's like this, I don't know, I just really, it was a very powerful experience. When we were talking about that, and I was expressing that to you, and you also in that same conversation brought in that you're doing the podcast, and it's like you're interviewing all of these healers, and you expressed something about I don't know how we got there, but it was basically you're not doing. What I wanted was for people to be able to see you holding. Right. In the way that I experienced that in that ceremony. Yeah. I was like, I think people aren't seeing this. Like we talked about that in that conversation. And just like me feeling in that journey how much I want other people to receive your medicine. Like, because
thank you.
Yeah, it's really, it's making me tear up right now, because this is such on the ground work that we're doing. Like you and I are kind of on we work at a similar scale, like very intimately one-on-one with people, and it's like it's hidden work, and it's not seen. Its nature is to kind of not be seen. But it's like so necessary. I'm feeling really emotional right now. And I realize I'm kind of rambling a little bit, but it's all good. That's why I'm here, at least. I'm here because I really deeply feel like people need to see your work. And I want to show my work, my literal, like how I show up to practice. And those two things kind of like magically like link together in our connection, and also how we work together, and those roles like switch.
Definitely, 100%.
It's cool. It's really like, it feels like a remembrance of something that's many, many generations like lost almost. That is like, this is like on the ground healing. That's not capitalistic. It's not controlled by, it's just, it's organic. Yeah. And that's another thing that I really feel like we connect around is how we follow this particular thread that is not, nobody's laying it out there. We both found this work in a, we stumbled into it. We didn't go looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
We needed this. We were at a place where we really needed it. We knew it wasn't nothing, there wasn't anything out there that was working.
Mm-hmm.
And we knew that, and we followed it down somehow, and just, it's just fucking cool.
One of the great things I like about this particular medicine that we are going to do is that, one, it's really long. It's like a 12-hour journey. And because it's so long, and because in this particular setup with you and me, we're so practiced at being in medicine and both space holders with medicine, mm-hmm. that during the day of the journey, the holding is going to be, it just will naturally move back and forth. Mm-hmm. To you need someone, you're working through something's coming up with you. The medicine, which I call the excavator, goes in and just pulls the thing that wants to be seen and looked at and felt up. And the medicine's so intelligent, especially when we're going to be working together, that it'll pull yours up, and then we'll be in your thing for a while. And then when you move through it and move what you need to move and are taking a break, the medicine will go, okay, Joel, and then I'll pull mine up. And like there's this beautiful like back and forth of being able to hold each other and do our work together that I just love about this medicine. So I'm looking forward to that.
I love it. Yeah, last time it was really funny. We were in this dance together. Like my stuff, I felt like it was my stuff coming up. Mm-hmm. This was interesting. Mm-hmm. My stuff was coming up, and it was very physical, like incredibly, purgative. Mm-hmm. And you were having it felt like you were having my purge experience. Yeah. At the same time, yeah. And we were laughing, and like both of us are like yeah. Spitting all this stuff out and quasi puking, like little pukey, like it's pretty fun.
Yeah, yeah, I love that.
It's like dying together. It was really like, yeah. Dying with you, Joel. It was so great.
Yeah. Oh, same, Robin. It was so great because you were in it and you were feeling this thing in your stomach, yeah. And I just suddenly turned over to a bucket and purged some stuff. And I sat back up and you just go, thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. Like you knew. You knew that was yours, not mine.
Yeah. Really, whew. That's a true friend.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. 100%. I have to do something because my mind is a little distracted. I need to plug in your phone. Pardon me.
Okay.
Just in case.
Still going?
Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah. True friendship right now. It's happening, and I've noticed that happening. I don't know, but it is more, but that was the second time in like the span of 2 weeks that I did that for a friend of mine while working together. Mm-hmm. So interesting to purge for someone. Oddly enough, that's also how I realized that energy healing was a calling, as I was on medicine and years ago, and a friend of mine didn't want to drink the Aya because she was getting migraines while she was doing Aya. So she asked if I would talk to Aya about why she was getting migraines. And I had a whole list of my own intentions, and all the intentions were not happening. Nothing was going on. And I was like, okay, can I look into my friends?
I have some space.
And Aya goes, you can. She's like, Aya goes, yes. Oh, one condition. Are you willing to purge for her? And I was like, oh. Okay. And then boom, dropped in. And dropped in so much that I had to leave the room I was in and go to another space that was actually diagonally underneath the room that my friend was in. And then I had took my hands up and pointed them towards that room, and I just started shaking. And I kept doing this until this feeling in my stomach was so full of whatever was coming out that I had to purge. And I did that like 3 times. It was wild.
Wow.
And then after that was over, Aya goes, "Okay, you ready to move on to the migraines?" And I go, "Yeah, we can do the migraines on one." And I have a condition this time that at any time I can tap out. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "Okay." And then this massive migraine started going on in my head. It was just like building and building and building. And I was like holding it as much as I could. And I was like, tap, 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 tap. I was like, that's good, that's good. And then I just had these succession of huge yawn releases and just went, and I blew the migraines out of my mouth. I don't think she had migraines doing that medicine anymore after that, if I remember correctly. Anyway, yeah. Thanks for listening to my story.
You should put that on your website.
I guess so. Well, now I can refer
Now
people
it's
to
on
this
your website,
episode.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow, that story just came out. Thanks for listening.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, question for you regarding the weekend coming up, or the journey coming up. What has been happening recently that is, you said that you were already starting the journey. Can you tell me about what's going on?
This is the wild part. The thing that you came in here and we talked about is basically the thing that I've been working with. I mean, it's not really wild. It's totally expected. But like the thing that you're bringing in, you're like, I think I'm embodying the divine masculine. And I'm like, of course you are. Welcome. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of work. It came up in our last journey, the father wound. And I feel like this medicine is particularly like healing of the father wound, or like it feels like it's the grandfather, right?
I call it, some call it the grandfather, I call it father.
Father.
Literally, like,
it feels like father. Like it feels like the energy, my experience of it was the thing that I came to in our last journey, which was actually really challenging for me. And I've been integrating ever since, was I felt the gaze, the masculine gaze, and actually like felt what that is. Like that is, and it linked all the way into my childhood, just sort of my own experience of not having a father that was present and conscious. So the gaze of the father being this endlessly loving, unconditionally loving, but also unconditionally seeing gaze. This consciousness that is like, sees everything, sees through all of the bullshit, sees all of the ego stuff, and still is loving, but is like, like it's watching and seeing everything. It's seeing the truth in everything. And I was just in this experience of feeling so seen. And one of the beautiful things about San Pedro in my experience is like how articulate I become about the thing that I'm feeling. Like it's almost sober medicine. It's so like crystal clear. Like everything is about like clarity and seeing and truth. And so I'm feeling the experience of being seen deeply. And it was like every one of my compensations, all of the egoic pattern stuff that I do to try to get attention, to try to get the grabby stuff. It was like a flashlight a spotlight being shined on it. And that was like specific things and also just this general like, oh my fucking God, like I'm being totally seen here. And realizing like, yes, deeply uncomfortable. And also like a nutrient that I did not have. Like that's a formulative, the father. It's the experience of having a father like that sees you and is like dedicated to holding you in your embodiment and watching attention on you as you like figure out how to move through life. Like, and just that like it all of a sudden in this medicine I felt that I never had that I did not have that. And I saw everything that I was doing that had been built on the compensation for not having that. And it was like, oh fuck. When we like the hardest moment was when I felt just the chasm of that. It felt like an abyss. And it was very physical. It was like I was walking up to the abyss. I was like, oh fuck. Like I don't even know what that is. Like I don't know it was a little bit despairing, like a little bit like how can I ever feel seen, and how can I clean this out? I don't even know what that feels like. There's this moment of like, I'm fucked. But but that's good. It's great.
That's the place you want to get to.
I'm
Then
so
you're in there. You're like feeling what the bottom of it is.
Well, what I remember when we were in that, I was like, I can barely even get to the edge of this. Like, I'm
Oh, right.
seeing this now. I'm like, oh my God, like this is so much.
I'm like, you're feeling what the bottom is. You're like,
Like,
that was the beginning
That was the
of the edge of the outside realm of the bottom. Well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah, right. Eventually, bottom is there, right?
Yeah.
You know, there's a bottom. I hope. My experience of the medicine, you called it an excavator. I called it a bulldozer. It feels like it's just going. Like,
wow.
Here you go. And I'm like, oh God. And then there will be moments
That's
of
cool.
lightness.
That's cool.
And then it just keeps, it's like, as soon as I feel like I can take more, it's like, here you go. Here you go. And it goes on and on. It's more than 11 hours. Not to scare anybody off, because I think this is like such beautiful medicine, but like I felt it for a week. I was feeling like, I mean, I'm very, very sensitive, but I felt micro version of the, and here you go. And here you go, like more. It was quite an integration for me. Probably a full week of feeling.
Was it a full week? I thought like 2 or 3 weeks later, you're like, it just hit me again.
Maybe. Maybe. I mean, I know for a week it was like, oh my God, like, wow. I need to do that again. I thought I needed to go in like the next day because I was like, we didn't go all the way there. Like, we need to keep going. You were like, just take it easy. I'm like, Joel, come back over. Come back.
Let's let this one settle first.
Yeah, that's good advice. It's good advice. I feel it's been. I don't know. It's. This feels like. What was the question you initially asked me?
What's been happening recently? That's
what's been coming
prepping
up.
you? Yeah, what's
okay,
been
the
coming
thing. So I never really answered that. Answered it a little bit, which, like I said, like one journey leads into the next one. So the last Sandpager journey, like it's sort of been an integration of that. I've been doing. I'm in a program, I'm in a couple of programs right now, but one of the programs that I'm doing is with a teacher who is a divine masculine, like shaman, just incredible channel. And he holds this frequency that is like, it's like what you were bringing in. You're like, I just discovered, like, I'm feeling it. I knew it before you said it because I can feel it because I'm like, It's why I'm in this program with this man, is because I want to be able to hold that energy, and I want to clean out I want to open up the parts of me that can't receive that energy. I want to do that for myself, and I want to do that for everyone that I touch and work with, but that's what's been coming up. And what has been coming up is like I said to you, like the stuff that I was saying to you when you first came in is like this. It's what I'm working with too. It's like I've touched the thing, like I'm embodying her, like the fullness and this like lightness and this release of I don't have to hold all of this weight that I've been holding. This lightness that has come through, that is truth. Like I feel it.
If I remember correctly,
yeah,
that was part of your intention last time we did San Pedro, is to release yourself from holding all the shit you don't
holding
need to
all
hold
this
anymore.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I also want to add on to that, your journey with this program that you were just talking about is just you being in it and then coming and talking to me.
Yeah.
I'm receiving healing from you being in that program.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Rippling out. It's yes. And I feel that. That's like that's what the power of this it's so powerful. It's like something about the way that he holds it. It's like so generous, and so he's like, I'm just here because it's incredibly healing for women to be in the presence of the divine masculine. I'm just gonna fucking be here, and he has beautiful, brilliant teachings also, but he's like, mostly it's just this energetic transmission, and I'm there receiving it. The first night after the first call that I had with him, I had this like fantasy dream that was like, and I woke up and I was like, I am attracted to him, but I am not, it's not like my mind, I had the dream and I woke up and I was like laughing at it because it was just not, it was like an old pattern of, if I feel this divine masculine, it must be sexualized. It must be like, I have to start obsessing about this person. I need to fall in love with them or get, and I must, like, that pattern is one of the things that's like cleaning out. Because I have a lot of relationships with, or a lot of past relationship with, I don't have that many examples of clean, powerful, masculine holding. And that's what this is for me. And why I'm there. Like, he asked, he was like, why are you here? I'm like, I'm here to be in this frequency, to like hold this, to find out where I can't hold it, to open that and hold more and see what it brings up. Yeah. So that's what I'm working on right now. That's what I'm bringing in here. That's what's been up. One of the specific things that happened this past week was I tried to bring something challenging to my partner, and it was kind of sloppy. It was kind of like, like
the way you brought it.
The way I brought it was like, it was exactly what we were talking about. I was like, okay, I need to jump back. I need to like, where's my resilience here? I didn't do this perfectly. How do I make amends here? How do I, and I realized like he got really, really hurt. We have this beautiful relationship now where even when we're in conflict, well, I'll say this. Our relationship feels so alive and we're moving so much energy through it. And it really is a vehicle for our healing. And when I slip in my responsibility, it's big. it feels like cataclysmic. And it's like what I think of when that happens is like when you're playing with bigger energy and like you're I don't mean for this to sound like arrogant or anything, but like when you've come down the path and you move up out of the lower realms of it and you're like starting to like build up a little bit, the consequence of being off is like very, very strong. And I felt that this week. Like I felt the consequence of being sloppy and kind of.
Is it stronger? Is the consequence stronger in you or in the dynamic or in the other person?
It's hurtful.
Because
you've
been holding
because I'm like, this is where I'm at. Like, can you meet me here? And yes, you can. And like, we're playing up here. And then there's this way where if I'm down here and I act from a wound without consciousness, it's a long way to fall. That's what it feels like. It feels like we're doing this dance of ascension and then I'm in the swamp and it hurts to fall down there. And it really damages the trust. And it's hard to get back on the board. So that's what I'm in right now, and I'm like, it doesn't feel like a problem. Just it's something that I'm working with this week. I love being humbled by this because my ego likes to be like, oh, we're doing this great. Good job. Like it wants to win. Really wants to win at this healing game. And I get smacked and it's like, oh, okay. Thank you.
Yeah. It's one of the things I love about you is you are super passionate about healing.
It's a lot.
It's
kind of a lot.
It's awesome to hear you say that you have an egoic part that's invested in winning the healing game.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a human design reading a couple weeks ago with my teacher, and she pointed to this thing in my chart that was this. She's like, oh yeah. She was like, you have these peak like channeling experiences, and then you get knocked down. And she's like, this is what will stop you from becoming a cult leader. I was like, oh, good. Great. I know that one really well. Like, wow. Yeah.
Why is that what will stop you?
Getting your ass kicked. Like the ego kicking of the, like I'll have a transcendent experience and then I'll like reach in, it's like out into the, it's almost like and the rest of my design is sort of like I want to bring that out into the world and like share it with people. Like that's part of who I am and how I move. I really want to externalize the things that have landed in me. But the fall down or the tripping and falling on my face part is a really important part of the message. Really being able to carry that message with integrity, and like if I didn't have that part and I'm just having these transcendent experiences and like going out and externalizing them, then that's like what a cult leader does, right?
Got it. Yeah. That is, I think, partly, possibly, maybe it isn't, you tell me, is that partly why you want to show, like you feel like the way you do your process could be healing for other people to see?
And it's just what I've found is like, I do a lot of things with people. I do a lot. I have a lot of techniques and skills and like practices and things that I can share. But what I'm finding when I work with people is like, actually, when I've been like, "No, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to do a little bit less. I'm going to do a little bit less. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to show up and like, be like, this is what I do. This is what happened to me. This is my experience, and like really feel it and be in my, just like, I'm here doing this work. Even to put those words on it feels like too much. Like, it's really just like, I mean, it's kind of what I said about my teacher that I'm in the program with. Like, I think just being in the frequency of someone who is doing this work is really, like, maybe, at least for me, I think maybe that's the best thing I can offer someone is unenmeshed, clean intimacy. You know, unenmeshed. Like, I have my boundaries, and I know my boundaries, and I'm here, like, I'm a loving presence, and I'm a centering force because I'm centered around I want to say God, like serving God. When I'm not in ego. When I'm not trying to win, I'm really in service to God.
Yeah. I was just talking about the power of being in the presence of someone who's doing their work, their healing work, their own personal on themselves healing work. Was that you I was talking about?
I feel like we've talked about that before.
Maybe that's just been coming up a lot lately.
I mean, that came up when we were talking about doing this. I was like, I just want to show up and do my work and like let that be seen.
Right. Yeah, I feel like I was talking to my therapist about it too, or maybe my friend Becca. I don't know. I've been talking a lot about what it means to be a healer with people lately.
What do you think it means?
I think what I'm gathering in my exploration and conversations with people is that being a healer, quote unquote healer, well, it is a healer. Being a healer is not that I'm healing others. It's that I'm healing myself, and I'm doing the work, and I'm learning. I've learned a bunch how I am my own healer, and I'm still learning in ways in which gathering more tools so that I can be my own healer. And in that, when you reach a certain place, for lack of a better word, level of being able to be your own healer, then you can hold space for others and help them remember that they're their own healers too. That's what I think being a healer is.
Amen. Amen?
Amen's good.
Amen.
Amen. So, all
I
right, our
love,
job's done.
I love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I feel. I've always resisted the idea of being someone else's healer.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because I'm in this place where I do energy healing. So in that sense, I'm actually channeling an energy that's doing healing work on you. Mm-hmm. And I'm still like trying to tease out how that fits in with what I just said. Yeah. And I think what I'm coming to is you are the person that brought yourself to that table. Mm-hmm. And you are the one that's receiving the energy. And you are the one that's opening yourself to feel these things and to move the energy and to allow it to do what it's doing. So in that sense, you are still your own healer.
Yep.
Because you are the one that's softening to be malleable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're making choices.
Mm-hmm.
you're choosing you, for instance, or
Yeah,
this person is choosing you.
exactly.
Yeah.
The person is choosing themselves. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think I was saying like, I'm choosing to have your hands touch me.
Mm.
And that is actually that's a powerful move. I mean, it depends on what your intention is, I guess, when you do that. It's something I actually, when I'm working with people, that I bring to most of the prep work is like, why are you coming here? Like what do you what is this? Like, just holding up mirrors so that they can see. I just ask questions,
I love
like,
that.
so you can see what you're doing and why, and start to.
Do you ask that when someone says they want to work with you, or when they're like, that's prep, that's leading up to the time when you actually meet and do the work?
Kind of all the time.
I
In
love this.
some way or another. One way or another. It's really, yeah.
I want to start integrating that, because I've been really coming to a place where I'm reworking what I'm offering. And I realized a few weeks ago that just presenting myself as an energy healer is inaccurate. That I'm offering something deeper than that, or more. And a lot of working with me would be, why are you working with me? Like the question has opened up so much for me. Like, that makes so much sense to bring into my practice, because if you're just coming for energy healing, I can do that, but we're missing a whole another level of stuff we can get into. If you're coming for using energy work to get into the trauma, or using me as a reflection for you to see more into what's going on.
This is bringing up one of the big things that's come up in the past week, actually, which is and more than the past week, how when I'm over functioning in a relationship, generally, or I'm thinking about in a work like when I'm working with someone, if I'm over functioning, how that actually is. I mean, it's saviorism, and it's just how unclean that is, and how potentially, like, it's almost to the point, I mean, it's woven into what we're saying right now, because it's like, I don't want to prop anyone up, and I have done that.
What do you mean prop anyone up?
I mean, literally, sometimes. Like,
as the healer?
as the person that someone is coming to and paying money, like, I want you to resource yourself. And I want to be so clean with how I offer support. Like, support is such a... I don't like the word support. I'm not articulating this very well. Maybe it's a little bit half-baked, but there's something about just enabling versus empowering. I want to empower people. I want to be an empowering agent, not enabling.
What do you do when somebody comes to you, and I guess this is why you ask why. This is why you're always asking why. Because
I'm always like, what are you... Kind of go into it like, what are you... there's a little bit of skepticism if anybody comes to me, because I think I put out this energy of like, I've got you. I've got you. And people feel that, and it's gotten me into they'll use my center, like gripping onto it instead of mirroring it, instead of being like, oh, center, like I feel that. There will be a, if I'm not really, really clean, and I have done this, I've let people like use it in an enmeshed way. So that's like kind of my focus now, is like cleaning, being clean there, and so asking why is like it's a way of creating a boundary that's for all of us. It's for all of our safety. Boundaries keep us all safe. Me, you. I'm at this point, I don't feel safe if someone tries to use me for center. And which doesn't mean that I don't ever do it. I have let that happen.
What about that makes you feel unsafe as the person who is holding the center?
Because I'm thinking of it very physically right now. Like if somebody is like wavering and they grab onto me and they hold on, they're like, oh, okay, centered. And then I remove myself. Like, have they really learned how to hold themselves, or have they just learned how to hold themselves when they're holding me? Like, how are they holding themselves? And I think it's much safer for me to be close, and I'm getting like Dirty Dancing images. Like when he's like teaching her to dance, and he's like, or somebody's teaching somebody to dance, and they're like, you're in your space and I'm in my space. Like you're in your body, I am in my body. I will be here, you can, and I will show you what I do. And you actually might see something that's off in me. I invite that. I tell people that. I'm like, look, I am a human being. I'm not perfect. I'm like doing this. I do it as cleanly as I can. I work at cleaning and being neutral and showing up. But I'm a human. So, and I'm open to I will check it out, whatever you bring. If you see something that's not clean, I will go into it and look at it, and there's a space where you just have to trust it. Like, but am I being clear at all talking about this?
Yeah, I think so.
What was the question?
Well, you're being clear about what you're saying, but the question was...
Not answer the question.
What makes you feel unsafe as the one
unsafe?
holding the center?
Projection that... it's actually another part of my work is like I'm working on being uncancelable and being like, I know what I'm doing is in service to like God. I'm doing this. It's sacred. I am cleaning out the parts that I'm constantly cleaning, and I know that I might miss things, but this is what I'm called into this, and I'm in service. And like grounding in that is making me feel less vulnerable to people that might want to cancel, because we're living in this like takedown culture in the collective.
You're scared of... So let me see if I got this. You're scared of that dynamic of someone coming into your space, then holding on to you for stability, but without like really getting in and doing their work. And then if you make one move that doesn't feel good to them because of their projection on you, that they might cancel you or start speaking of you in the world in a way that's unfavorable. and untrue.
Yeah, and well, what I just thought when you were saying that back to me was like, oh, it's about pedestalization. Like when someone grabs onto me as a you're a pedestal, like that's pedestalization. That's like, oh, you're safe. Like I can collapse here a little bit because you're safe. Versus, this made me think of ballet and like how you use the bar. It's like it's not like you're gripping onto the bar. You're like using the bar as something to an orientation tool, and I'm okay with that. Like
Orient.
Yeah, orient here. That's the difference. Ugh,
I love
thank
that.
you
There
for
it
helping
is.
me
Woo!
get there. Whew, that like the heat just moved.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I love that. Healers
Yeah.
are orientation tools.
But if we're leaning on the
So
thing
good.
and we move, if somebody's leaning on me or pedestalizing, that's going to swing. The pendulum is going to swing and at some point into something else, into the demonic demonization, punisher. Pedestalization is dangerous as fuck. As a pattern, like it's dangerous. It's like it's a tricky one. Yeah, so it's kind of the witch wound, or the fear of being burnt at the stake, I guess. And if the work that I was doing was not already demonized, then maybe I would feel a little less paranoid. But I'm working through that too. I'm like, well, this is what it is, and I can't, that paranoid, I have to clean that out. I have to clean out the fear that does creep in. But the teacher that I'm working with, he's like, when you own this frequency, it's just going to bounce off of you. He's like, it's not even going to come into, like, people who want to take you down or whatever. Like, it burns up in the atmosphere, in the atmosphere of your being. Like, it's just it's nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah.
That's cool. We're both kind of on a journey of ownership. You owning your frequency, and then things just bounce off. And me owning sexual energy, owning all the parts of myself, so as not to need anything from someone else.
They're kind of the same.
I can see that. I can see the result being very.
They're both
the
like
same.
sovereignty. Like, I'm good. I'm taken care of. You can't take anything away from me, and you can't really give me anything that I don't have myself. Like, I'm. Can you feel?
Yeah, that's cool.
Can you feel areas where you don't believe that?
That I don't believe that someone can give or take something from me. Give me something or take something.
Like when I just said that, was there any sort of like, I'm not 100%.
Well, I'm not 100%.
Okay.
Because I'm still integrating it. I'm still stepping through the threshold of this whole owning my shit. And things that aren't shit. Owning my shadow and my light. I'm still in the process of it. What's going on?
I don't know. I just thought about pickleball.
Did you really?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe it's time for pickleball. I thought you were like looking inside of me and seeing shit there for a minute.
No, just pickleball.
You might have just been foreseeing your defeat in pickleball, which probably is unlikely to happen.
I don't know. You have good shorts on today.
I do. Okay.
Did we cover all our bases?
I think we covered. there's another base, one last base that I want to cover before we go. Maybe two. And one is to say, no, I think I want to talk a little bit more about what we're going to do,
Okay.
San Pedro, as a medicine. And just a little bit more about, we already talked about how it's a masculine energy. It's a very long journey. It's a excavator / bulldozer.
Yep.
And how it opens up it does open up your heart. It's somewhat of a heart opener. And enhances your ability to be with what's in you as well as be with other people, and to communicate what's going on with you in relation to other people much easier. And it comes from a cactus. It's a cactus. So it's this steady plant in the desert, in the highlands of the Andes, that just is still and steadfast. And that's what the spirit brings to us when we do the medicine. The still, steadfast, watching, as you said, this scene, this beautiful scene. And I very much love this medicine. I'm looking forward to doing it again with you, Robin. And with that, I want to leave space for us to, as of this moment, share some of our intentions for the journey. Of course, leaving space for more to pop up or for them to shift before the day of, or on the day of.
Yep.
And I have one that I want to share. My intention for this particular journey is to step more into the healthy masculine, and to I just want to integrate it more into my system. I want to experience other just different realms of it, different little pieces, and round it out and hold it, and in so doing take more ownership of what I'm here for, who I am, and what I have to offer.
It's really good. Let's see. I'm really looking forward to being in that, like, receiving and watching you and your work there, and just like being your biggest fan in that, because it's like it really fits in really well. Like I want to practice being seen, being in that gaze, and just like I'm doing in this program that I'm in, I want to sit in the frequency of being deeply seen, with love, having nowhere to hide, and coming into acceptance and approval, and of all of the complexity of that, and the dark, light, unintegrated whatever is there. Just practice opening to that.
Received. Well, okay. We want to wrap this episode up then?
Okay.
Feeling closed?
Yeah.
So, thanks for this talk. That was amazing.
It was awesome,
Loved
Joel.
it
Yeah.
so much. And we'll be back next episode after our San Pedro journey.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I invite all of you to make a little room for healing in your lives. And looking forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks for making a little room for my podcast. I'd love to be a part of your journey too. Follow me on Instagram at A Little Room for Healing for news, updates, offerings, and connection. To book a session with me, go to www.alittleroomforhealing.com. If you'd like to support the podcast, follow the link at the bottom of the episode description. Have a beautiful day.